All right, next up we got Nehemiah. Nehemiah, many of your woes, I think, is due to coming late, right? You joined the team late, so you missed training camp and things like that. So I think you're thinking on out there when you're on the court and not reacting. And you have some good intangibles. I mean, that if you focused on, it would make you a lot better than your peers. Like, you got good foot speed and quickness. You're willing to be physical, and if you had more of a plan when it came to certain areas, like for instance, one of your gifts is defense. If you had more of a plan, like, hey, I'm gonna force this guy left, or I'm gonna cut this guy off and make him shoot with his right, or you know, I'm gonna help hard on this guy, and then I'm gonna close out and run him off the line. Like, if you had ideas like that in your head, it would make you a much better defender. And everybody can't do that because everybody don't have the ability to have foot speed and lateral quickness and things like that, and you do. So um, that's one of the areas that I think you could do. And then also, I think you could be a much better playmaker. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the film and stuff. But your strengths is, I think I just said it is on ball defense, but it's surface level. If y'all are playing one on one with a guy, I got to stay in front of him in the basket. But when you're playing in basketball in a game, now you got to close out with the right hand. You got to break down. You got to rotate on defense. If this guy goes baseline, you got to know I'm first help versus I'm gonna rotate and guard too. Like, those are the things that you don't know. So the another strength that I think you do well at, and you'll see this a lot in the videos, you've taken to, hey man, I need you to finish off 2 feet consistently. Um, and that has served you well. It's noticeable. I already talked about your quickness being a strength. I think you compete out there. Um, the biggest compliment I can give you, and this is because it's going to far exceed basketball, is you're a much better person than you are a player. And that's just one of the prayers I have for you guys, is that, hey, as they continue to learn and grow, I pray that their ability never exceeds their character. And that's again, that's the biggest compliment I can give you, because that's gonna go. I mean, we're all gonna be, God willing, we're gonna be ex-athletes more than we're gonna be current ones. So that trait right there is the most important trait, and like I said, I'm happy for that. Your weaknesses is, consistent shooting. I think playmaking, that's another area you have the ability to be better than a lot of kids. But you got to know what pass to make when. How to attract two defenders and get it away. A lot of passes come from your chest. You don't use the pocket pass a lot, or you don't know when to use the pocket pass, or over the top, or what have you, right? And that takes training. And up to this point, you and I, we haven't trained a lot. You've just, played in my leagues and on my team. So, I don't expect you to have that, but you have the intangibles to be, much better at those things and separate you, because again, most kids don't value that. Um, and another thing in terms of weakness, I think that you disappear too often. You know, and I don't want it to sound like that means I'm saying, hey, I need you to shoot more, do this. I'm saying defensively, you disappear too often, because that's the God-given ability we want to cultivate first. And there's a lot of times that I'll forget you're on the court, and you always need to be touching and boxing out somebody, not letting people look through you, by reaching, jabbing at them, things like that, being active. And like I said, you're quick enough to where I think you can make more guys uncomfortable. So, I think a lot of guys need to go into like our last tournament with a very specific focus, you know, and yours would be, hey, I'm gonna be disruptive on defense. I'm gonna turn them over more than I turn it over, and I'm gonna disrupt offense. And I think if you start coming in with like specific goals, I think you'll do much better at it. All right, so look, let's jump right into some videos right here. Let's see. We got a Dolphins with the ball, got a throw ahead, and again, this is one of the things I think you got better at. Pro hop, take your time. You just got to finish that. All right. So again, I think you're able to take your time. The guy actually gave up on the play. You just smoked it. Yeah, I'm just gonna go through each game, show you some good and some bad. But like for instance, for this one, think about how I want to run my defense. I want you in line with the ball to force over the top passes. and you're just straight guarding because that's what you're good at, but that's not what I need on my defense. So you're just guarding him. Does that make sense? So now I need you in line with the ball and making him throw it over you, and you're just trying to be a pest. But that doesn't coincide with how I'm coaching. All right, a couple of things here. Like it's tough for you to handle the ball and stay in place. So now you're backing all the way up to half court. All right, now this is a weaker team. Stronger teams will most definitely rotate. If you're going to be a straight line driver and just run full speed from here to the goal, basically that's a sign of a bad team. Somebody should have been able to rotate in front of you. So it's a little fool's gold here. But this is a good play in terms of like when you got to the hole you finished. But right now, the ball pressure is making you back up. As a guard, you can't allow us to start our offense, almost 20 feet away from the 3-point line. You got to just body up, control the pace, because every screen is going to be super high and things like that. So now, since you're getting pressure, you just take off, right? And it's in the lane. I'm glad that at the very end, like that's training right there in terms of what we've been practicing. 2-foot finish, go up. That looks strong. But against the stronger teams, to drive from here to the basket with no resistance, just, that's just not the reality at the level that, I think you're looking to play at. So let's look at some things that do coincide with some of the things I do that you do. If there's a free throw play to be made, and I think we're gonna miss the free throw or anything like that, I want you as the first dive guy. Like you're the best at doing this right here. You're gonna run right to that spot, and you're already there. Which now, since this guy chases Neo, Cam comes around wide open by himself. And you do that routinely every single time, no doubt. So if my whole game plan was built around getting free throws, I mean, you wouldn't come off the court. All right, but these are the things that I need you to do in other areas because that's going to make you a lot stronger. All right, let's watch another one. You sprint, you're already in front of the guy right there. Now, the only reason I may not want you there is you're not the tallest, but Ethan gets the rebound because of you. Now, of course, he's the beneficiary of what you do, but look how much bigger those guys are. But I don't really care because I'm more worried about the guy that's rolling around to get this rebound, but he's banking on you doing your job. So when you're on the court, y'all never run into each other, get hung because you're so quick to get to that spot. Good stuff. But this is a good bad play. All right. Defensively, again. So in my mind, I'm like Nehemiah's too quick to let a bigger guard go by him. But boom, he gets your hips turned, and now he's downhill, and you're behind him. All right. So he's at the 3-point line, and you're still, running behind him. Now here, we got to have more control of the ball. Now let's just kind of watch you as a straight line driver. Like you got to get more poise to your game where you can put guys in jail, slow down, change directions, and read the court. But you're trying to outrun guys everywhere. So now you're running up the court, kind of lose it a little bit. All right, we get a Euro. That's a good finish right there. Let's watch the whole thing. This guy cannot get by you in transition. All right, but he does. And now, if he really knew basketball, he'd throw it over the top to this guy for 2 points. And that was avoidable if you're able to do your job over there. But, they're a bad team, so we're able to say, oh, he didn't make it. But the better teams and better players are going to make that play. All right. So, again, good finish with the Euro step at the end there. Right here, you just got to make better plays. Your passes come from either over your head, right there. So, can you shoot from that position? Or can you drive from that position? So you're no longer a triple threat. You're not even a dual threat. So Cam isn't open. The best thing to do is reverse the ball, but you pass where your eyes go every single time. And as a point guard, you got to be able to look here, throw there, and vice versa. All right, so this ball goes right there. And to me, it's a really bad decision because 2 guys had a chance at the ball. So there's 2 separate players you can read. I thought if you threw it, this guy would steal the ball. And then when you threw it, this guy actually stole it. So, so you can't, you just can't throw that pass right there. But here's some point guard stuff. All right, so you catch the ball right there. And so Jacob is open for the flash. And so these are the plays you got to make as a point guard. Look where your pass goes. So he can't do anything. Matter of fact, you threw him away from the goal, so now he can't shoot it and be a threat to look at the rim. So that's important. So we struggle to get the ball back, and we finally do. And on a broken play, you get a nice knockdown three right there. All right, but ready to read now. This is good. After this pass goes here, I was more worried about the break. I thought you and Jackie should have been ready to start this way once y'all thought Jacob was going to lose the ball, but you did relocate. All right, and then take a shot. So that's good. All right, let's look at some of your good plays in this game. All right, you get a swing, you get a good flash, and then you throw it. That's a perfect pass. I don't know where Ethan went because the ref's in the way. But basically, Ethan's on the baseline right now. And then when you throw it, let's see where he goes. Maybe he tripped. I don't know. But that was a good pass. Maybe Ethan went to look for the ball. But that's a good play right there. And again, a lot of us are getting a lot better at our, hey, when we run flash and you catch the ball middle, look for the dive guy. Like, those are passes where we know where the ball's going to go once we catch it. That's not I'm dribbling down court, I get by my guy. When I make this second guy help, if it's from the block, I throw it there. If it's from the corner, I throw it. It's not a read like y'all need to have in order to separate yourself. All right, one thing I'll say right now before I forget, because I'm not sure I clipped enough of these, is you block out more than most. All right, so you find a guy, you touch him, and you hold a block out, and so I'll dial it back a little bit, and that's one of the reasons like you can disappear at times, because a lot of times this is happening. This guy would normally get the ball against our team because we don't block out a lot, and Ethan gets the rebound. And in a game, I don't always notice that. So that's one credit to you. Hopefully, I got a couple more clips time step. Now this, I think you fumble the ball a lot. All right, like you're catching, but that ball's not so high you shouldn't be able to catch it. All right, so we kind of fumble it, and then it's kind of helter-skelter. But there's a 2-foot finish. You're just by yourself. You make the game a lot easier by adding that to your game. Great stuff. All right, so we got a swing. We catch it right in the middle. Good flash, good pop. That's good stuff. And good balance. Hop right into it. Now, this is a defensive court awareness. Now, I do think when people move, like, I don't think you do a great job of counting the players or knowing, like, subconsciously 1, 2, 3, 4 players are right there. And then when this guy drives, how you need to drop because there's somebody who's unaccounted for. So if you're in a 1-3-1 and this guy shoots the gap and drives right here, you got to be thinking, I don't need to be up here because he's not going to throw a hook pass to the three-point line. He's going to throw it to this guy. All right, Ethan needs to wall up and protect the rim, and as a result, he'd have a tougher pass, so his body should be turned basically kind of towards the camera, and Cam should be walled up. But as a result, you're late on that pass, and you got to kind of feel that, all right? And again, obviously, that play isn't all your fault, but you got to make sure you don't disappear, and you can erase a mistake like that because then coaches notice it, all right? Here's another good pass, but I'd still like to say this. You throw straight every time. If you throw a bounce, nobody has a chance to get to that ball. So usually when you're in the paint and most of your turnovers, if you really look back and think of them, they're coming because straight line passes. So both of these guys had a chance at it. And that's why I say throw a bounce pass or over the top because they won't have a chance. A bounce pass is much safer than people think because if they kick it, it's still our ball. That's called kickball. All right, so you end up throwing a pass that looks nice, but in my head I'm thinking, yeah, it was nice, but does it get through against this team? All right, so keep that in mind. Shot goes up. Now, you're looking to block out. You don't find them. All right, that's not always bad, but you got to catch these cleaner. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's a fumble in my opinion. Fumble, and then you're taking off. All right, good in and out move right there. And another a good finish. And believe it or not, that's still a 2-foot finish. So that's good. You go left, right, and then jump off both feet. Nice. This is going to be our first free throws that I'd noticed of the game. And you got it. Land on 2, get into his body, and finish. All right, so like I said, your 2-foot finishing is really good. I notice it more than anybody else on the team. The thing is, that can't be your biggest strength because of your size. All right, so like, you still got to work on the playmaking side of things, and you got to work on your shooting because at your size, you just can't live down there. That just can't be like the best part of your game. All right, so now we're playing a team that has more length, a little bit more of the level that you plan on playing at. So now this has to be a pocket pass, right? Because the holes aren't nearly as big as when you're playing like a GSA or somebody. They're much smaller. So this got to be a pocket pass, and if it's not, it ends up being a turnover. All right, so like make sure that you're like recognizing that, like which teams you're doing what against, and get by. Because I mean, you know what I'm saying when I say it's fool's gold. Like, yeah, it got by that game, but against the competition that you eventually want to play at isn't, it's not gonna go through. All right, and this is a good move. You get by your guy, um, and you land on two. You just gotta finish it. All right, it's just one of those moves. Like you're all the way in the rim. You did all the hard work. Just gotta finish. And it was 2 feet. So, I mean, the only difference that I saw between that and a lot of other plays that you do is that it was with your left hand. So you land it and it was with your left hand. So maybe that's what you got to get stronger at. But regardless, you do a move that good, go ahead and you got to get in there. All right, now this is when you're playing high level defense. Is when you learn how to do things like this. So like the ball's in the air. Ball in there, you're in there, you should be sprinting at this guy and doing a stunt. Because obviously you can't guard both. You're just trying to make this guy get flustered. So right now, as this ball's coming out, Adolphus should be running this way and you should be running at him and stunning and getting back. But the ball, he catches it and you're still on the block. So remember, you've heard me give the analogy, or I think you have. Bad defenses don't move. So the ball moved, but you didn't. So that's bad defense in my book. Good defenses move on the catch. I think that's probably when you actually moved. And it's just a saying. I don't think that's good defense. I think great defense is when you move on the flight of the ball. So now it's a catch, and now you started moving. So now you stun at him, but that's not enough to make him ball fake or pump fake and think he might need to throw to this guy. All right. So make sure you're doing that. So let's watch it in fast one more time so you can see it. As that ball starts to flow and his shoulders turn, you need to be sprinting at him and then stunt. All right, and you do stunt, you just don't get close enough to the shooter. All right, so again, as a point guard, you don't want to play one-on-one offense from the half court because now we're playing a different team than the first game. And like I said, you're not gonna be able to drive. And like I said, I don't want like the reason we do video is so y'all can see stuff like this. Like in a game when I'm just like, oh, okay, such and such had 20 points, but in a real against a real team that's only 6, because all that's fool's goal. Like that's what I see. And I think a lot of times all y'all see is the 20 points. So this is why the video is so important, so you can learn like, man, I really don't play the game right here where the top point guards play. I play it back here. So that's somewhere you got to grow. So now you're taking off. And again, there's going to be help. So this guy starts guarding you and they switch. Then this guy rotates up and now you're off balance and it gets deflected. So these are the things you got to think about. It's no longer going to be a straight line to the hoop. And since we're on this play, let's also talk about being able to play a play ahead. So as you're driving, here's an opportunity to play a play ahead. This guy helps. This should be a bounce pass to Adolphus. Right, as he helps. Bounce pass, Adolphus will be open for a shot or a split stance or a terrible closeout. Okay, so let's say you see more, right? I want to get a layup. So since this guy's out of position, I'm going to attack this guy. As soon as this guy helps up, you got to be throwing that pass now. Because if you wait too long to pass it, you're going to be too close to the defender and it's going to get deflected. So right now you should throw it. But you got to take one more dribble and now look where your pass comes from. And that's where the deflection happens because you're not able to play one play ahead. And that's really a big deal. I want you to be mindful of that because that's a play that most kids can't make. They don't even know how to make it. They don't even know how to have a discussion about playing a play ahead. But if the defender does this, I'm doing that. And you kind of make the play right when you're stuck instead of reacting to where the defense is going. All right. Now, again, that takes training. That's not just getting out there and playing. All right. That's one of those things. I like this play. Jackie's taking it out. They fall asleep. I like that you cut for that. That's good. Jackie puts it on the money. Now, you do have to practice. Think about your finishes. You rarely finish out front. And against length, you can't finish right at, like a floater every time. You see how the ball's going straight up? So now he gets a hand on it. If you could finish like more on a finger roll style, he can't block that. All right. So again, know why and why you're not being successful at the rim. For some people, it's 2-foot finishes. They only jump off one, so they get pushed out. Some, it's the angle that they take, whatever, right? For you, it's having multiple finishes at the rim, footwork wise, and the angle which you finish at. And it can't always be like that, like you're in an empty gym. All right. And these are the plays, like I say, I want you to be able to, obviously play point guard for me and things like this, but you got to get under control because, again, once you've kind of faced a defense that isn't going to let you straight line, right? So you got to learn to change directions and read. Like, as this guy's leg is coming out, I'd do a speed crossover, make him drop step and things like this, but you're going the same direction. And so now we go, there's help side, there's guys reaching, right? They're not letting you to the paint. And then we have an unforced turnover. So you got to keep your balance and stuff because you can't have unforced turnovers. All right. So again, getting the ball has to be easy for you. So you get to it, but it's just simple stuff, right? Fundamentals, right? Don't travel, and the fundamentals of the speed of the way that guy had you going made you do that. Now, one of the things ball handling wise that I do want you to really really focus on is you got to initiate contact and let the game slow down. All right, the game you allow to move too fast, so like you're trying to outrun everybody to every place, and that's why you'll slip and things like that. So when you start bodying up as you dribble and probing and saying, "Oh man, if you help from here, I'm gonna pass it here" or whatever, that's the biggest thing missing in your, for point guard duties, right? It's not the handle. It's really the pace. You need to change gears and you need to body up when you're being guarded. All right, so let's look at some good plays from this game. All right, so now keep in mind two things. This is a caveat. I don't want to take away your good plays, but you block out much better out of a zone because it's easier than you do when wherever we're doing man, like when we're in practice and stuff. Because there's obviously, if you're a man, there's more responsibilities. There's not a I'm guarding this area. So, but again, I can't fault you because you're the only one doing it. You see this blockout right here? Nobody else is touching anybody. So you literally clear this guy out. And so like I really like that about you. Everybody didn't do it's one of those things where everybody got to do their job, but Dolphins doesn't do his. So they get the ball and now we're in foul trouble because of it. But all you can do is your job and consistently do your job, and that's good. When we're in a zone, I do trust your blockouts. All right, so you got to continue to grow in this. So, basketball is progressions. If you're as a passer and a playmaker, you want to be able to make passes and stuff standing still and see the court. And you really want to get to the level where you can make passes and things on the move. I don't think you're consistently there yet. And we still got to go somewhere with here. But look at this. Design play. We go here. The backside guy has to help because he doesn't want Ethan to be open. Right? Y'all run America, it looks like. And then you throw a skip pass all the way across. So now Calicato has a bad closeout. He should just split stance and go. Nonetheless, he takes a scenic route, spin, and all that stuff. But he gets that opportunity because of a bad closeout. All right. So there we go. Bad closeout. We go for some other stuff, but great read on that. These are more the plays that you want to look at. And like I said, you have spurts of them. You get here, Jackie drives. So now you have a bad closeout coming at you. Good. You go by him, make a read on the move, and throw it right to Cam in his numbers. Cam knocks it down. All right. Let's watch that one more time. Jackie drives. You kind of cut all the way out to space. Boom, we get to the paint. Wide open Cam. Knocked it in. All right, so hey, that's it for your video. But like when you're looking at this, kind of just really take in a lot of the big points, the point guard points. Again, I think a lot of what you could be really good at is defense. All right, so find out how to have more of a plan when you're guarding people, like individually, and how to see the whole court when you're guarding as a team, like knowing like, oh man, there's only 4 guys in front of me. Where's that 5th guy at? All right, I need you to start thinking like that. As a guard, think about how to change gears more, body up, as we talked about earlier, slowing the game down, how to make other people better more consistently, and on purpose. And then just know the progressions of being a playmaker. I always tell people I wouldn't have made it without being a playmaker. I just wasn't good enough. So like when I tell kids that, I'm not taking a jab at them. I just wasn't Allen Iverson good on the offensive side of the ball. And that was okay. I mean, I had to go and value some things that other people didn't value. And unfortunately, most kids only value scoring. And that's a very competitive field. So learn to value how to play the game, things that are recognizable to college coaches. You start with the stationary passing. You get great at that. You move on to on the dribble passing like this play you just did where you make guys commit and you make people more efficient and better. All right, all this is within your wheelhouse to do. I 100% believe you can do it, but you got to get there on purpose. All right, man, later.